Hey, what's up guys? This is Justin. And now that the summer season of movies is wrapping up, we're starting to roll into the fall. Without further ado, here's my first review for The Predator. The Predator is the fourth movie in the Predators franchise, unless you really count the Alien vs. Predator movies, and this spawns a huge debate. The plot of this film in a nutshell is former Army Ranger Quinn McKenna finds a crashed Predator ship, and inside he takes some of the gear and he actually sends it home so he doesn't get caught with it where he's at. Which I remember seeing from the trailers, and it was probably the stupidest thing a writer could come up with, because you really don't think a kid would get a hold of this package when it came in the mail. Fast forward a little bit, and McKenna's actually rounded up for questioning to kind of figure out what happened at the crash site. No one believes what he says, so he kind of just gets thrown off to the side in this little loony bin bus of ex-military. Some of them have Tourette's, PTSD, and all this other stuff. Basically, this group of flawed ex-military members ends up being this area's last hope to fight off this predator. But guess what? There's more than one. Guys, from the trailers, this just looked lazily written to me. It looked over the top. The plot points looked weak. And I'm not gonna lie, at times I was right. For most of this film, it was a really fun time. Director Shane Black has previously worked on Last Action Hero, Lethal Weapon, and it really shows in this film. It really has the style of a typical 80s action film. From a great orchestrated soundtrack to ridiculous over-the-top action, great humor, and cheesy one-liners, director Shane Black really blends all these elements well together. I wouldn't say the film's all great. Half the time I was watching this, it really felt like the director didn't know which way he wanted this film to go. I remember a little while ago reading online that they did a test screening of this film, and the audience reacted negatively to the third act, so the director ended up reshooting the entire third act. Now, reshoots aren't always a bad thing. Sometimes it leads to some of the coolest scenes we've ever seen on film. I like the third act though. It was neat to see all these ex-military members honing their individual skills and working together to fight these predators. But when everything's said and done, you really don't have a clue where they're trying to leave this film off at or what direction they're going to go in. So as seen in the trailers, this time around they have a new breed of predator. They basically got the super shredder treatment. It looks like one of the original predators but on crack. One thing that I thought looked really weird was the super predator comes walking out of his spaceship and he's got space dogs. They have the dreadlocks and everything. It just looks like a big poofy wavy mane of hair growing around their head, and I don't know why I think it's so ridiculous, but you have to see for yourself. Keegan-Michael Key's the main comedic relief in this movie. He's kind of like the asshole of that friend group you used to have when you were younger. That guy you really just kept around because they were funny. A lot of his jokes really landed in the movie, but some of them were just really awkward, something you would kind of say to one another when you were 12. But I'm not gonna lie, my favorite Punisher, Thomas Jane, was in this movie, and he was funny as shit. I'd even fight to say he was funnier than Keegan-Michael Key. I don't want to go too much into spoiler territory, but his character has Tourette's, and oh my gosh, all of his scenes were hilarious. Olivia Munn's in this movie, and she plays a biologist who goes along with the main crew in their mission. And I thought she did a good job. She's a really likable character. The main actor who played Quinn McKenna, I don't really remember his name, but he was functional. His character was okay, I guess. I wasn't really attached to him or anything like that. The only really aspect of his character I liked was the dynamic between him and his son. So this is a mild spoiler, but I have to talk about it because it's so awesome. Towards the end of the film, the super predator just slings this scorpion spear from Mortal Kombat at these ex-military dudes and rips it back, and you just see their heads flying. It's so satisfying. Guys, I'm happy to report this movie was surprisingly good. Over the top at times? Hell yeah, but this movie embraces it and kind of does its own thing. I'm not too sure what direction they're trying to go with this movie, but when they do and they make a sequel, I'm definitely going to check it out. 7 out of 10.